Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us for this session. So today we will be talking about building data and process automation efficiencies. So let me introduce myself. My name is Maria Kozlova, and I lead marketing at ApprovalMax. And as a co-host, we also have Helmut Heppner. So hello, Helmut.
Hello, everyone. And let me also take the opportunity to say 2 words about ApprovalMax. So ApprovalMax is the best of class approval automation app and Xero partner since 2016. And we are today a Xero preferred app partner, deeply integrating into Xero. And we are very proud to be awarded the App Partner of the Year for UK Ireland in 2020 this year.
Thank you very much, Helmut. As our very special guest, we have Peter Magner here today. Hello, Peter.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on here. I'm one of the directors. My brother runs, or headed up and started Iridium, and I joined him shortly thereafter. And we're an accounting advisory and automation service provider. We're a bunch of young guys in and around the 25 to 28. And yeah, we love to help people with technology and accounting. And yeah, we've definitely got our clients' best interest at heart.
Thank you very much, Peter. We're very excited to have you with us today. So let's take a look at the agenda. We will start by looking at automation as the foundation for delivery of accounting and advisory services. We will move on to talk about Xero-based automation app stack with focus on Receipt Bank and ApprovalMax. Later, we will stop to talk about financial controls as the key enabler for service delivery for tech startups specifically. And then, as a concluding part, we will be looking into the success story by one of the clients of Iridium. So let me start with the automation. So the ultimate goal of automation is achieving efficiencies, and efficiencies lie around data, processes, and collaboration. So in terms of data, essentially is that data is real-time and actionable. Translating that into accounting requirements is that whatever information you have in the is contained in the accounting system, it has to be complete in terms of both business data, business coding, and accounting coding. To make it possible to work on all kinds of reporting for budget planning, for cash flow forecasting, etc. In terms of processes, specifically spend authorization processes, automation ensures that there's transparency and there's traceability of authorization decisions. It also significantly simplifies preparation of audits. And finally, on top of that, it helps implement shared accountability with clients, which significantly improves lives in case you're handling payments on behalf of clients. Finally, for client collaboration, automation is all about user experience and about the ability to communicate near real time and in context of all kinds of activities that are currently happening. So back to you, Peter. What is your take on automation?
Yeah, so I mean, it's one of the 3 pillars of our business. I think for me, automating processes isn't about taking people out of it, but just making it easier for people to interact with a richer data and also streamline processes. So for us, having tools that allow you to automate elements of it allows you to build in better processes into your business. And as you mentioned, it's about financial controls. And whenever I was an auditor, it was all about looking at who needs to approve what and looking at the funny signature at the bottom to make sure that's the right signature. With tools like ApprovalMax, it allows you to have a defined set of approvals and have those followed through consistently. So I think allowing you to have good data and consistent data with strong controls is really important. The kind of elements you touched on is also using technology like cell phones to make it even easier. So you can do it on the fly. It just makes it so much easier for both clients and for for accountants. So for me, it's a really great way of doing things.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Peter. Now that you have mentioned applications, let's look at the next slide. And here we look at the functional stack. So not so much the app stack yet, but the functional stack. So specifically for span control, what you need a cloud accounting system, and Peter, we will be relying on you to cover that. So at the heart, there is a cloud accounting system that serves as the system of records and the central point of truth. So on top, there's a set of functionalities that you normally want to add to the accounting platform of your choice. So a key component of automation is data automation. And here we talk about digital data capture tools, or optical character recognition tools, as they're sometimes called. There's an array of such tools, and so you name it. So there is Receipt Bank, there is Data Molina, HubDoc, recently acquired by Xero, and so there's they all have their specialization and so varying pricing it. But overall, so they solve a key problem, as in trying to make the flow paperless. So as a key element, again, as a key component to that, to make sure that you have truly fully digital, end-to-end digital process in terms of data and process automation, is that you take care of bill of purchase order automation and bill automation. And here we will be going back to you, Helmut, to help us cover that. So not spending much time here. And let's, yeah. So Peter, what is your take here? So you have automation as one of the value propositions at our company slogan. So yeah, and do you happen to use any of these systems in your daily life?
Yeah, thanks, Maria. We're Xero through and through. We were born starting with Xero, and so it's our favorite accounting system. And as you talk about central, document management tool. For us, we looked at the various options, and at the time we felt Receipt Bank allowed us to tick all the boxes from an OCR perspective. And when we found ApprovalMax, it was kind of the final leg of that overall system. So those are our three key automation tools in this space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so thank you very much. One thing that I also wanted to mention here is that in our experience, what we see is that there is some kind of an evolution path, and most of the businesses, most of the practices start with bill automation, so taking care of reactive spend control, and basically taking care of implementing multi-step and multi-level authorizations for bills. And then as the sophistication grows for authorization workflows, there's a move, as a natural move, to purchase order automation. So introduction of purchase orders as a concept, introduction of the concept of limiting purchase orders and purchase order requesters. So do you see it the same way? So how many of your clients actually do that? So are open to purchase order automation?
I think it's a great point, and I think it is an evolution of a company. One starts out by just spending money off a card, and then builds in additional things like actually looking at a budget and having bills against that budget, and finally starts building in purchase orders and being a lot more proactive in the approach. So I think it's, as you build and scale your business, you build additional controls in place, financial controls, and proactive control and purchase orders are one of those key components. So I wouldn't expect that to be within a business that's just started, but certainly if a business starts growing into a larger team, purchase orders are a vital part of a business.
Thank you very much. That would be very valuable for us as we look in more detail at purchase order automation and bill automation. So thank you. And let me move to our next slide. So, and a little bit talk about the recent functionality that has been released by ApprovalMax, and that's a direct integration between ReceiptBank and ApprovalMax. So Helmut, let me hand it over to you, and please could you walk us through here.
Yeah, so we are talking about data automation here, right? So while ApprovalMax was originally treating Xero as the system of records, and the data were flowing exclusively via Xero, we have now also a direct integration with ReceiptBank, which allows different options to set up the accounting process for accounts payable and for the spend management. So essentially what it allows is that data and processes are more streamlined, and we are processing paid bills and managing business expenses in different scenarios. One of the new scenarios is that you can submit supplier invoices to ReceiptBank, where they will be coded, extracted, digitalized, and then they will be published into Xero for the review and approval and for the authorization of supplier invoices. And ApprovalMax then takes the final step to publish those invoices into Xero, where they hit the status awaiting payment, and can be then essentially processed by the accounting personnel in Xero. So this workflow as well, the traditional workflow, the Xero integrated ones, they are providing both the same benefits like high data quality, like multi-step approvals, fully digitalized workflows, but it gives you options for more streamlined processing of paid bills. And if we would look on different scenarios like proactive spend control, and Maria, if you can give me the next slide, please.
Happy to, sure.
Then essentially a process could start with the authorization of committed spends before the business engages with the supplier. So essentially it means we are starting with creating purchase orders and authorizing purchase orders before the spend will be committed to the supplier. And one of the great benefits of ApprovalMax is that we are taking the users out of the accounting system. So it means that everyone who has to make spending on behalf of the business does not have to access to the accounting system, while data relevant for the purchase orders are coming from the connected GL. And it provides, after the creation of the purchase order, it provides with a high level of automation for the approval routing. So we offer multi-step, multi-level authorization workflows, which essentially ensure that the appropriate approver, according to defined delegated authority of the company, approves the spend. And the properties of the purchase order will essentially drive the approval assignment to the appropriate approver. And this reflects definitions of the business rules and the approval metrics of the business. And it means essentially that the responsible person, the budget owner, or the controller, or the financial person has full control about the spend and can make sure that the business transact according to good standards and good internal controls. And if we are thinking about the next step in the accounting process, which we are calling reactive spend control, you can essentially combine these together with the previous part of the process, but it is not essentially required that you have to use purchase orders or you have to use a supplier invoice approval. You can essentially use either or the combination of both. But if you are authorizing spend, and then after the spend is authorized, you can potentially then have easier internal controls on the supplier invoice. So the typical workflow would be that ApprovalMax sources the supplier invoice from Xero. It comes to Xero, for instance, by creating in Xero or submitting from an set data automation tool from an OCR tool. And after we are receiving the supplier invoice from the accounting system, we run it through the same logic, multi-step, multi-level approval workflow, but we are also providing additional functionality and additional controls like matching bills to purchase orders and providing greater visibility about committed spend, what has been already built and what has been left open. So additional functionality, additional controls will deliver a great benefit with matching and budget validation functionality. It is also worth to mention that ApprovalMax supports flexible various scenarios to use the product. Let me reiterate, process participants, approvers, requesters are not required to have a login into the accounting system. They can work on the go, making decisions out of email notifications or based on notifications pushed to the native mobile app. And while ApprovalMax authorizes the invoices, it keeps clear audit trails about everything, what's happening, who is approving what, when, and if there's a discussion taking place between the different people involved in the process, all these discussions are visible in a clear audit trail, which helps to be very compliant and set a compliant process and have good internal controls. So the real use essentially depends on the requirements of the business. And we have seen different use scenarios by different businesses having different requirements, which where ApprovalMax help to meet these requirements and hit the goals. I think that it's a good time to switch over to a real life example, and I give it back to Maria and Peter to talk about a case study and a real life example.
Sure, Helmut, thank you very, very much. And just to sum up on what we have already discussed. So we took a look at the data and process automation, and we have seen that there are several ways how we can build that flow using Xero, using the direct integration between ReceiptBank and ApprovalMax, or you can use Xero as the central point of truth and use any other digital data capture tool, not ReceiptBank necessarily, but Hopper, for example, if that suits your case, but ApprovalMax will still be helpful the same way as it would be with ReceiptBank. And also, thank you very much again, Helmut. So we've looked at the purchase order automation and bill automation. So now the best part, absolutely the best part. So let me move on to the client success story. And Peter, this is back over to you. So if you could please give us some details about the client profile. So what the challenges were and what the solution was. So over to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Maria, and thanks, Helmut, for just talking us through the ApprovalMax process. Yeah, for most people in South Africa, they'll know very well who YOCO are. Many of them probably actually have used on a daily basis to grab a cup of coffee from their favorite restaurant or coffee shop. And for us, we've had a long-standing partnership with YOCO, first starting out by just engaging with them in helping our clients with their credit card processing. And we've got a great relationship that we've built over the last 5 to 7 years with them. And in conversation around their processes, we picked up that there was a big gap in their their expense management process from a OCR bill automation side of things, and the approvals. And when we looked at it and had a conversation with them around it, they were already using Xero as their core accounting system, so they ticked the right box there. But there were a lot of other areas that they needed help with. And they're an incredibly fast-growing tech startup in South Africa. At this present time, they've got about 150 team members, and they help over 80,000 customers around the country with their credit card processing and point of sale systems. So you can imagine within a very short space of time, they've scaled up a lot from a team perspective and complexity perspective, and needed to scale up their technology to meet those needs. And when we arrived, it was a very paper-based process, and signing like most businesses these days do, signing on a piece of paper that gets dumped on a desk, and hopefully that gets the right person to get finally paid. And we wanted to kind of bring it together into a much more streamlined process, which is kind of where we looked at tools like ApprovalMax and Receipt Bank, as well as other tools to streamline that process. So I think when we had that conversation with them, they were looking at a number of different options, but none of them were connected to each other. So there's great tools out there that you can use for ticketing and approvals, but they don't necessarily connect to the financial systems. And when we looked at it, we wanted to find a solution that connected all of the processes together, like you spoke about, Maria, from a OCR perspective, from a bill automation, and from a proactive and reactive spend control, and all pulling down together into the accounting system. And we found that three key tools were vital to that, which were the ApprovalMax, Receipt Bank, and Xero. So for us, this was the key solution. Fortunately, we had worked with a couple of other tech startups prior to having a conversation with YOCO, so we already knew what we were doing. The first tech startup was about a year before. We want to streamline our approvals. We knew about Receipt Bank, we knew about Xero, but we didn't have the missing link being ApprovalMax. Did a lot of research, a couple of Googles, and picked up on ApprovalMax. I think we actually had a chat with the team at Receipt Bank and said, this is the current challenge. We don't think Receipt Bank does it. And they said, oh, well, we've got friends that actually do it. It's ApprovalMax. And we've already got a great partnership with them. So let me introduce you to Helmut from ApprovalMax. And I think that was kind of when I met Helmut quite a few years ago. And he was incredibly helpful, and I met the need that we were looking for, which was that entire purchase order and bill approval process. And kind of as they asked us questions, we've got lots of different approvers. The team from ApprovalMax were like, we've got that box ticked. If they needed to switch out approvers, well, there's a tool for that, or a little solution for that within ApprovalMax. And there's just, throughout the tool, there's lots of little nuggets of gold that you can find that really help streamline that process overall. So for us, and when we're chatting to the team at YOCO, this overall tech stack seemed like it met their need. If we kind of forward on 2 years from the actual implementation, we now are actually their kind of accounting partner, and work quite closely with them in managing Receipt Bank, ApprovalMax, and Xero. And so we've actually not only been able to gain a great relationship from an automation perspective and build on an additional revenue stream there internally, but they've actually transitioned from just a pure automation client to being an accounting client for us. So it's a nice way that you can actually add additional revenue from an accounting practice by understanding the technology available, implementing it really well, and helping the client maintain that along the way. And so for us, it's a great tech stack, and we've used it multiple times in rolling out across tech companies, but also across other companies that are requiring multiple levels of approval. And typically it's companies that either have lots of departments or lots of team members with multi-level approvals. So with YOCO, they've got lots of departments, but also they've got a really large team that all own different areas of the business. And it's quite vital for them to be able to segregate out those approvals in an easy to manage way, and allow them to monitor those approvals in an accurate way. The solid ApprovalMax or approval matrix has really been a great addition to their spend management. Their auditors love them for it because everything goes from ApprovalMax, pulls an audit trail directly into Xero. And so when the auditors get in at the end of the year, they're actually able to see when something was approved, when, by who, and follow it back directly into ApprovalMax. So it's got that transparent, easily controlled workflow. It allows you to also on the fly pick up your cell phone, go into the app and approve things, or jump on the mobile browser and see what you need to do from an approval process perspective. So, accessibility, no physical signature required. So any of the guys at YOCO can sit at home, approve what they need on the go, and it just actually then speeds up the overall expense management and bill automation process. So for us, it's been a big win for our clients, for ourselves, and it's opened up a lot of doors for us. So yeah, we're really grateful to have ApprovalMax as part of our tech stack to offer to our clients, and we feel it's added great value.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we're extremely happy that we could help that way, and we're very much very, very happy about the whole case. So, Helmut, should I be handing it over back to you for kind of the closing, since we're running out of time already?
Yes, thank you very much, and thank you for the good words, Peter. I very much enjoyed the words about your experience with ApprovalMax, and that is how we see us acting to the favor of our partners and to the favor of our customers. And as part of this idea, we came up with a promotion which we want to offer today. And the promotion essentially would offer for everyone who is signing up on the link which you see currently on the slide, signing up till end of September, who will receive a 50% discount for an paid subscription of ApprovalMax for the first 3 months. And the 21st businesses who registers and sign up for that offer would in addition receive a free consultation for 30 minutes provided by Peter Magna at Iridium. And Peter will be very helpful to review processes and help you to discuss your business needs in process automation, and contribute his wealth of experience with the app stack, with Xero, with modern cloud accounting technology, and the experience he has with other clients.
Okay, so thank you very much, Helmut. Thank you so very much, Peter. It's been absolutely great to have you with us today. And we also thank everyone who has joined us today for this session. So in case you have any questions, please do get in touch with us. We will be very happy to discuss all your questions in more detail. And again, let me just thank all our presenters again. And that's it for today. Thank you. Talk to you.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.